Hello everybody, how are y'all doing? I hope you had a good weekend. My weekend was busy. I think I'm going to be busy until next Thursday, to be quite honest. But that's how it goes this time of year. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to editing the story. Last we left off on Saturday, we finished the markups. There is still some stuff like not marked up that we'll need to focus on, like the rearranging of certain chapters and or writing Vanessa's chapters in. That probably won't be done during this pass either, but just a heads up, that is something that will be worked on. Hi All Steel Gaming, how's it going? Right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to just follow the edit highlights. Alright, so we're going to start at the beginning, chapter 1. We actually should probably start with the title, but I still don't, like, with the story not quite done yet, because we need to get those extra Vanessa chapters in, I don't feel comfortable writing this out, but I do think I want to create something called painting based. I'm already getting ideas for that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to push this closer to, like, I think I originally had it in October or so. This is going to be closer to September-ish. So I'm going to say September 10th. Now I am going to highlight this to be edited again in the future because, well, you know what? I don't think I need to do that because I think I did take care of that pretty much for a lot of these. I am going to highlight it though because I think I'm going to go with the use a phrase from within the chapter tactic that some stories do. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Alright, so chapter 1, September 10th. Sylvia Mulligan was a young woman. She aspired to be an artist, but had, I wonder, aspirations? I wonder if aspirations would be a good title. I'm going to create a list as we go along. Anyway, she aspired to be an artist, but had one problem. You can't ever seem to get out of your own way, her mother criticized, leaning into the room where Sylvia had run to for comfort. She was curled up on her bed with her blanket wrapped around her for comfort. Alright. Okay, so that's redundancy. Let's see if how we can rework this. Where Sylvia hadn't run to for shelter. She was curled up on her bed with her blanket wrapped around her. I don't like for shelter for comfort though, so that still needs to be reworked. She was curled up on her bed with her blanket wrapped around her. Tightly. This tightly indicates comfort, especially if you're doing it to yourself, right? That's how I feel anyway. You don't know that? She yelled back. We should probably use an exclamation point for that. Oh? Whose name was it on the paperwork that still hasn't been sent to the university? Her mother snapped. It's 2 weeks past due and they've given you yet another extension. Why can't you just take it to the post office? So this, because she doesn't drive, obviously she can't take it to the post office, so we're going to cut that out. Sylvia shrugged. I don't know, she said, her tone sullen. I forget. Then set reminders. I do, and then I do something else, and then I forget again, Sylvia rambled, rubbing the inside of the blanket that she was cocooned in. I don't mean to. It just happens. Well, then... Wait, why are we down all the way down here? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, wait, why is this highlighted? Why did I mark that for rewording or rephrasing? Okay, it's 2 weeks past due. And you're on another extension. You're almost... it's 2 weeks past due. This is the second extension. I like that better. Sylvia shrugged. I don't know, she said, her tone sullen. I forget. Then set reminders. I do. And then I do something else. And then I forget again, Sylvia rambled, rubbing the inside of the blanket that she was cocooned in. I don't mean to. It just happens. Well, then maybe write reminders in more conspicuous places so you'll see them even after you get distracted by something else, her mother sighed and suggested. This was not the first time she had made a suggestion like this. I try. Where's the ignore? There it is. Sylvia commented, her voice almost a whimper. This was not the first time she had attempted to work with that suggestion. However, somehow though, it always seemed to fail. I'm going to try to cut out a lot of these interjections. Somehow, it always seemed to fail. It doesn't work. We bought you a nice agenda book. Planner. We bought you a nice planner. Don't you use that? Yes, except I always keep it closed, so I don't know what's always on the agenda. That needs to be rephrased, even if I didn't mark it then. So I don't always know what's on the agenda. Make a habit out of looking at it every morning, her mother suggested, again, not for the first time. I try. Again, we're going to ignore you. Is there a hotkey for it? Doesn't look like it. I don't always do it though, and that's when the problem happens. Also, I forget to write things down in it. Alright, so let's see. I try. I don't always do it though, and that's when the problem happens. I try. But sometimes I forget. But sometimes I forget. Also, I forget to write things down in it too. I know also in 2 makes it redundant, but at the same time, it feels real to me. Her mother. Did I really highlight it? Yes, I'm positive I did. I did give her name though. Oh no, that's highlighted for redundancy. Yeah. Mother let a heavy sigh at that admission, although she was not surprised by it. Sylvia, you're never going to be able to make it on your own if you can't figure out a way to handle deadlines and appointments by yourself. She said, defeated. I know, Sylvia responded, shrinking more into herself. I'm trying, though. What have you done to try? Well, Sylvia started. I do look at the agenda, and I do try to remember to write things down when they come up. I'm gonna actually add a sometimes there. I do try to remember to write things down when they come up. It's just, if I don't write it, I think I'm gonna change the punctuation. If I don't write it down, I forget about it. Why are you underlined? Oh well. And then if I forget to look at the agenda, I'll forget about it even more. Her mother let out another sigh. Have you done anything else other than trying to use the agenda, or your memory? Sylvia shook her head, wisps of, I'm gonna say, shoulder length. Blonde hair. Flowing with emotion. Everyone says the agenda books are the best thing to use. I don't see how they do it, though. What about the calendar on your phone, or setting a reminder through... I'm gonna Google something real quick. Researching if I want to add like the name Alexa or Siri, if I just want to be generic with it. I'm not getting good answers for this. I don't like it. Rephrase. Okay, that's better. Alright, so I think the general consensus is yes, but be careful. Sorry, some of these responses are pretty good. Yeah, so as long as I don't like disparage the brand or anything like that, should be good. Oh, so I put some pretty good stuff. Oh. Wow, this so I'm looking at Reddit to get some of these answers, and I'm reading like these thoughtful responses, and then I see graphics that dazzle. I'm like, wow, somebody's getting on the down low with the slang, and I realize it's an ad. Ho ho ho. The real people, real places. Oh, that's actually a good one. I think I've got some homework to do. Difference from brand names and products. Perfect. Oh, this is written by an attorney. Okay. Writers frequently ask whether they can mention brand name products and services in their fiction. The answer is yes, provided that you take some common sense precautions. So it sounds like it's similar to what everybody else is saying too. Indeed, if it were unlawful to include brand names in fiction, countless product references in a novel would... I feel like I've read this before, but that's fine. Oh yeah, this is an old article. So it might be changed, but it's fine. Alternative present or large corporations purchasing rights to the calendar years. Year of the Whopper, year of the trial size dove bar. Oh, I love that. I should take a look at that story, Infinite Jest. The 4 areas of law to consider in connection with brand names are trademark infringement, trademark dilution, trademark tarnishment, and defamation. Trademark infringement is unauthorized use of a name in a way that creates a likelihood of confusion. That's not going to happen here. I won't name my novel Alexa. Trademark dilution is somewhat different. That gives owners the famous brand names legal rights to prohibit others from using those names in a manner that would make them less distinctive, like the Xerox situation. Defamation and tarnishing are areas that could be greater cause for concern. If, for example, you falsely depict a brand name product being dangerous or defective, the manufacturer could be liable to complain. Oh! And here I was looking away. Hey, Tiger Rights, how's it going? Yes, all the books. It's going well too, just doing some basically legal research for getting brand names and stuff into the story. I always figure it's okay in a positive light, but I never actually looked at opinions about it from like legal experts, so I'm looking at that up now. It's coming along nicely, just a few minutes in. So we're still like not even halfway through chapter 1. But yeah, it's coming along nice. How was your stream today? Oh, and now that I'm seeing the banner, there is an ad starting in about 2 or 3 minutes for my Twitch viewers. It was good. Wrote 2 chapters, nice. One for Stepping Wild and one for the Captain's Heart. Nice. I'm not gonna lie, you seem to be on that rotation list. I cannot do a rotating list of novels. I have to stick to one. At least one per day anyway. I can't do more than one in a day or I get confused. But I respect the rotation, so good on you. I'm just gonna go ahead and name it Alexa. I heard you were, or I saw rather, that you were writing a lit RPG. How's that going? Can't do just one story, you get bored? I feel you. Well, I'm kind of the opposite. I'll get easily distracted, and I feel like I would probably mix up my elements if I did that. Editing is one thing, though. I can definitely edit. I just can't write. Where did I go? Of course, now that I don't have my highlights anymore, I don't know where I left off. She said Alexa, though. There it is. Or sending a reminder through Alexa. Her mom asked her dad suggested that before, so it's likely that's where her mother's suggestion came from. I don't like the phone calendar, Sylvia complained, and I tried using the reminder app, but it doesn't like to listen to me while I'm at school. Also, I'm not allowed to pull it out while I'm at school now. Lit RPG isn't a genre for me. I'm going to finish the book, but I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the planned series. Maybe I haven't seen what you've written for it, but maybe just convert it into like a regular novel, maybe. But I know how you feel. Like, this is my first YA novel. I don't think it's a genre for me. I'll stick with my fanciful fantasies. Set on not Earth, where I don't have to worry about copyright infringement. It's on Royal Road? Yeah! Absolutely. Alright, the new restrictions from they're nodded, referring to the new rules the school district put in place at the start of the school year. Students could have phones on them in the event of emergency, but were otherwise expected to be put away. They were otherwise expected to be put away at all times. The world... Hold on a sec. The world which is... Okay, I thought I had that cut off. Okay, cool. I've got... Oh, looks like I missed out on a challenge on Royal Road, which I guess makes sense because I haven't been signed in for like ages over here. World which is... I like the cover art. I like this. Like, I was playing with a concept like this a while ago. I've never written lit RPG either, so I'd probably not be good at it. But yeah, I was asking my husband, who like devours this genre, like, could there be like a lit RPG that's not an isekai? Because like he fights with monsters is kind of a big one that we both enjoyed listening to, but he listens to a bunch of them. And from his descriptions, they're all like isekais, like, was it Night Lord? And a few others, so. I've skimmed on the system elements as much as I can. I still find myself not addressing them. I mean, that's fair. I think when I was playing with the idea of doing a lit RPG, I was just basically creating a role-playing campaign that I was just going to play through myself, if that makes sense. That was in ambitious. I'm glad the community chose young adult over that, because that was going to create a lot of prep. Very nice. You have virtual RPG system apocalypse like your story? Okay. That is good to know. I know VR isn't quite isekai, but I feel like technically, since you're in another world anyway, because you're going through the VR stuff, it is. I don't know, that's just my disconnect. If stories simply set in worlds that run like games is their nature. Yes, and that was kind of like what I was imagining. Like, is there anything ever like that? But it makes sense that there are. There's, like, I've only scratched the surface of the lit RPG world. Just because I haven't read any of those stories doesn't mean that they don't exist, and yours obviously exists in that world, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna log in and mark that for read for later. Give me a minute. I might have forgotten my password. Oh, I have it open anyway, so I'll just come back to it later then. Issue with the VR is it lacks the lack of real stakes, since the MC can simply log out when things get tough. That's true. That would be a very interesting way to, like, it would have to be a very interesting story to keep it compelling. See how that would be difficult, but if done well, it could be done really well. Alright, portfolio deadline when mattered. And now that I read it, and now you need to head out and hunt down dinner. Alright, you go ahead and enjoy your dinner. Thanks for chatting at me, and I'll see you next time. If you're in school or not. Pretty sure they did good. I'm pretty sure the date was given to you in the form of a letter. I don't even think that needs to be there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the date was originally in late July, before school even started. I'll say early August. Alright, that doesn't need revamping. It was, I think I just forgot. We'll just say I just forgot. Another side came from her mother, who is now, her mother was now leaning on the doorframe for support. What are we going to do with you? The teenage girl only shrugged in response. Well, tomorrow after school, you and I have a date with the post office. Whatever you have ready, we'll be sending off. You understand? This time, the teenage girl. Oh, that's more redundancy. This time, Sylvia nodded. She looked over at the desk she had in the corner. in the corner opposite of her bed. It was a mess of painted paper, often in the middle of some project or another. She had plenty of finished pieces, but she wasn't sure which work she wanted to present to the Academy of the Arts. They were all in an unorganized pile of work. Once something had dried, she took a look at it. If she was happy with it, she put it in a pile. If she was unhappy with it, she would just throw it away. I know. I think I'll break it up like that, I guess. They were all in an unorganized pile of work. When something had dried, she took a look at it. If she was happy with it, she put it in the pile. If she was unhappy with it, she would just throw it away. She admitted she had admittedly thrown away much more art than she had in the pile over time, but the pile was substantially larger than the 5 pieces that exemplified her work. Why did I have this mark? I think I was still getting my feelings for the I'm gonna just completely rephrase this. One more art was discarded and kept. The remaining pile was much larger than something she cared to sit and go through. I like that. That feels more concise. Although more art was discarded than kept, the remaining pile was much larger than something she cared to sit and go through. That was honestly what was taking her the longest. That was honestly what was taking her so long, rather. She needed to find the time and willpower to go through the pile and find the best of the best. Oh, see, look. These were her precious creations. How could she only pick 5 to show off? She looked at her mother, who was looking back at her with concern. What's going through your mind? She asked, as she always did. I'm not going to have her mention that because obviously I don't have her say it elsewhere in the story. Concerned. She asked her voice, taking on a gentle tone. Can't I just give them 5 off of the top? Sylvia asked. The 5 off of the top? Can't I just give them the 5 off of the top? 5 from the top? Let's just give them the top 5. Top 5 of the pile. Here we go. Sylvia asked. We're not going to let her be whiny. No, you cannot, her mother answered with a firm shake of the head. Why not? The same reason why you don't just roll out of bed and go to school with your pajamas on and hair uncombed. You want to make sure you put your best foot forward, otherwise they won't give you a second chance. Nah, I'm not gonna include that line. I'll print that out too. Her mother tried to explain. Sylvia wasn't sure if that was a good explanation. She wouldn't mind going to school. Oh. Cut that out too. That gave her pause. The Academy of the Arts was not just some organization that didn't know her. They were an organization that didn't know her. They were an organization that didn't know her, but yet she wanted to attend. She knew that she'd be able to learn better techniques if she attended. Oh, I'm just now realizing. Hold on. Okay, so there's like a bajillion Academy of Arts. So that's good. But I'm gonna make a note here. Oh, dang it, there's... okay. That's fine. That'll be for a future upcoming pass. Actually, no. You know what? While I'm thinking about it... we're going to need to rephrase this. Here, I'm going to highlight that. The Academy of the Arts was not just some organization that didn't know her. They were an organization that didn't know her, but yet she wanted to attend. She knew that she would be able to learn better techniques if she attended. They were in art school. Maybe they would understand if she came to class in pajamas. The pajamas thing just keeps going. They were in art school. They seemed understanding that she needed 2 extensions for the deadline. I think it'll be fine, Sylvia commented with a shrug. Sylvia, you're competing against possibly hundreds of other people. For a position at the Academy. If you don't put your best foot forward and show them the best of what you can accomplish, they're going to choose someone else who they believe will be more of a benefit to the school. Her mother explained the concept in a different way. I'm going to highlight this. Actually, no, I'm just going to go ahead and yeet it. They're willing to teach, but only people who show the most promise. But only for people who show the most promise. But only for students who show the most promise. Excuse me. If you're not willing to cultivate your work to show off the pieces that would impress them and make them believe you have that promise, then they're not going to bother trying to teach you. They're going to select someone with a higher level of talent or promise already, so that person can reach the pinnacle of their craft. Her mother... I'm going to erase all that and just say explained. Explained with a sigh in her voice. Here we go, we got the sigh in. What I'm saying is, you have to put in the work. Sylvia groaned. She had always known this was the right thing to do. She knew that she had to pick favorites among her work, and she also knew that they were all... Sylvia groaned. She had always known that this was the right thing to do. She knew that she had to pick favorites among her work, and she also knew that there were already a few that she did like more than others. She was just hesitant. She was just hesitant to begin the task. As much as it needed to be done. Fine. I'll do it. Commented isn't the right word. She relented with a huff. Think of it as a trip down memory lane. Her mother smiled at finally having won the battle. I'm sure you'll be able to narrow down to the top 5 tonight. Narrow down the top 5 tonight. Put them on the dining table, and tomorrow I'll pick you up from school, and we'll take the package to send off. And we'll take the package to the post office. With a hesitant nod, Sylvia unwrapped herself from her blanket and started moving toward her art desk. Toward her art desk. Yes, Mom. I cannot talk. Alright. That's the next chapter. I think... Alright, we're going to just do random phrases from the... I like 5 off the top, though. Oh, actually, I like this. I actually kind of like that as the story title too, if I'm going to be completely honest. Up here, title ideas, aspirations, a mess of paint and paper. Alright, Sylvia 2, or chapter 2, Sylvia. Alright, and we're gonna... Part of me really wants to condense everything down together to be like the same day. But some of those chapters are gonna be really long. No, I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it as it is. We're gonna go ahead and just highlight all you. The next day at school, Sylvia was laying on her desk, her head in the crook of her arm. She wasn't asleep. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut that part out because that'll be just a big part of the chapter. And the rest of the story, honestly. She was listening to the teacher, Miss Taylor, drone on about diminishing returns while in her economics class. It wasn't that she didn't respect Miss Taylor, it's that unless they were doing charting, she had no interest in the other portions of her lecture. I don't like that. So unless they were doing something that she could follow along with easily, she had a better time picturing the discussion than jotting it down. Usually after a lecture, charts would be involved. They would write. They would do some sample charts, and Sylvia always did well, and Sylvia was able to better understand what was being talked about. They would do some sample charts where Sylvia was able to Follow along. They would do some sample charts that Sylvia. Some sample charts. They would just. Sylvia is better able to. This allowed Sylvia to be better able to understand what was being talked about as she combined the visual representation with what the teacher was explaining about. Before that, though, she always had difficulty following along unless she blocked out any other. Blocked out everything else. Excuse me. Miss Mulligan, am I boring you? Miss Taylor's accusatory voice was directed at the bored young woman. Sitting up suddenly, Sylvia brushed her hair out of her face. We've already established that it's short blonde hair. Shorter length blonde hair. And shook her head. No, I'm not bored. I was just trying to follow along. With your head down and eyes closed. Yes. What was I just talking about? Diminishing returns? I think diminishing returns would be better suited later in the story, so I don't want to use that as the title. The much older woman's face soured, and she cleared her throat, more to get the attention of all the students in the room than to actually clear it. What about diminishing returns specifically? Sylvia's brows furrowed as she tried to remember the name. She let out a slow exhale and then answered. Something about a decreased yield? Are you guessing? No, I remember that you were talking about decreased yield, but I don't recall exactly what. And this, Miss Mulligan, is why you don't sleep in class. Be like everyone else and take notes. Notes help you remember better than dreams do, I promise. There were a few snickers that were muffled throughout the room, as if the students were trying their best to keep from laughing. Alright. The few snickers that Sylvia heard, the few muffled snickers that Sylvia heard were enough to get her to shrink down into her seat. Alrighty. Her notebook and pen were already out on her desk, with a couple of lines. A couple of lines already written down from the start of the lecture. Mostly they were about diminishing returns and the need to properly adjust whenever increasing input. Sylvia read over the notes and knew they meant nothing to her. Still, the teacher wanted her to pretend that they would be the better way to follow along, so she could. So she began writing down everything she could from Ms. Taylor's lecture. Sylvia, I have a note here to try to make it longer, so we're going to go ahead and add some, basically, add Sylvia's experience here. Pardon the adjustment noises. Sylvia kept her eyes on the notepad, on the lines of the notebook, as she tried to follow along with the teacher. However, she often found that once she was done writing a sentence, or what she could recall of what writing a sentence, at least, alright, so I was gonna. She often found that once she was done writing a sentence, or what she remembered of the teacher's lecture, of what the teacher said, she realized that I'm gonna say more than once, she found that once she was done writing a sentence, or what she remembered of what the teacher said, the teacher, Ms. Taylor, had already continued on in the lesson, and Sylvia felt like she was missing valuable information between what she had just jotted down and what was now being discussed. How much? At one point, Sylvia stopped writing altogether and just tried to listen with her eyes focused on the lines of the paper. How much time lapsed between when she was writing and how much time lapsed when she was writing when she noticed the teacher's new topic? As far as she could tell, she wasn't missing any information. Oh yes, she had listened. Once she took the pencil, started writing, it was as if she was creating gaps. But once she took the pencil, started writing, it was as if she was, I won't say she was creating gaps, I don't like that. It was as if gaps were being created where it was as if there were muffles? What's the earphones? Not mittens. It's as if there was a dang it, I'm not getting the word in my head. It doesn't want to come to me. Instead of writing, it was as if there was an audible, a barrier preventing her from hearing what was being said. Because she was concentrating too much on writing. I'm gonna actually create a new paragraph with that. If that's the case, here I'm gonna actually, as far as she could tell, she wasn't missing any information as long as she only listened. Miss Taylor wasn't talking terribly fast. I don't say terribly quickly. She also wasn't taking time to pause and let the students absorb the information either. Sylvia found that once you took the pencil and paper, it was as if there was a bear. Sylvia picked up her pencil again and tried once more to follow along while taking notes. As she did this, she found that once she started writing, it was as if there's a barrier preventing her from hearing what was being said. She paused what she was writing. It probably wouldn't make sense if she had gone back to read it anyway. Just tried to listen to what the teacher was saying while making a circle on the paper. She felt like she was able to hear a bit more with that. But her eyes there were still gaps where she was having difficulty hearing what the teacher was saying. On writing and making or drawing on paper, Sylvia only assumed that this was the case. Sylvia, we gotta get rid of those howevers. I want a however band. That this was the case. However, though, and still. But only assume this was the case. Was what the teacher wanted her to do, though. So that's what she would do. Even if she ended up missing half of what was being said. Alright, there we go. And now we're on the next chapter. Oh, right, we gotta figure out a title for this one. It's kind of a shorter chapter. These two will probably end up merging, but we're going to keep them separate for now. Decreased yield. I like that better. Diminishing returns can happen later, but decreased yield. After class, Sylvia slung her backpack over her shoulder and started to make her way to the lockers. 2 more classes and she'll be able to go home and take a nap. Just double checking the class 5th period, economics 6th. Alright, yep, 7 period day. After she went to the post office with her mom. Remembering the night before, sitting on her bedroom floor, sorting through all sorts of gorgeous paintings that she had created, she smiled and yawned. It took her way too long, but she was finally able to select 5 paintings that she felt not only were her best, but also had represented the way she approached painting as well. She knew the selection committee at the academy. I'll research it now. You want to refer to a specific academy? Okay, capitalized. Good to know. Or if it's not a proper noun, well, I mean, alright, so a lot of a lot of academies are coming up on this search saying should always be capitalized since they refer to the proper name of the institution. Okay. We can do that. Got distracted by Discord. Back to the story though. Okay, would be impressed by them. They were now on the dining room table waiting for her mom to package them up with the rest of the submission paperwork so they could be delivered to the post office this afternoon. I'm gonna geet that. This afternoon, she and her mother would be taking the selected 5 to the post office with the rest of her packet, so to be sent off. Sylvia frowned. She did put them on the dining room table, didn't she? She shook her head. It was too late to worry about it now. If she didn't, then her mom would probably yell at her again, and they'd have to go home so they could locate the paintings before going back to the post office. Or before going to the post office. She'll find out once she gets picked up. I think we need that line. You're Sylvia, right? A voice came from behind her. The blonde teenager turned around and blinked at another young woman who was about her same height, but more slender. But was more slender and had long brunette hair. I don't know if I want to say she had long brunette hair. And had brunette hair that was pulled back into a ponytail. I think later in the story I do refer to it as a long ponytail, but for now we'll just keep it as ponytail. She barely recognized this girl. She had transferred into the school about a month ago, so that makes sense. I'll say at this a month ago, at the start of the semester. She barely recognized this girl. She had transferred into the school about a month ago at the start of the semester, and they had shared a couple of classes together. A couple of classes, including this economics class. The economics class together. Oh, I don't want it to end up on a single word. Maybe if I do push that to this. Nope. Including economics. There we go. Yeah? Sylvia asked cautiously. Does that need to be there? Yeah, Sylvia asked cautiously. She hoisted her backpack across both of her shoulders as she assessed the new girl in front of her. Say the girl in front of her. I mean, she is a new girl, but... Say the brunette must have been able to tell, the other girl didn't seem to notice Sylvia looking her over. And reached out a hand to shake. "I'm Vanessa," she said amiably. Still uncertain, but not wanting to be rude, Sylvia reached out and shook Vanessa's hand. "Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you," she stated. She stated, still cautious. Polite, but still cautious. I need to work Sylvia's friends into the story too. That's fine though. Vanessa shook the hand in return, but did not release it immediately. "I noticed you're always sleeping in class." "It's not sleeping," Sylvia cut in, forcibly getting herself free from the hand grip. "I just wanted to know..." Cut in. Her tone now annoyed. She forcibly freed herself. From the handshake. And that's what the other girls grasp. I just wanted to know if you've seen anyone about it, Vanessa commented. Why did I have that highlighted as not... Why? I'll say visibly. Visibly surprised with. You don't seem like the type who would have something like apnea, but it can still affect people in a surprising way. Apnea? Sylvia asked, not sure what that word meant, or why this new girl was bringing it up. My dad's a doctor, she said. I want to say explained. Nope. Because later we established that it's her mom that's the doctor. She treats people with sleep apnea all the time. It makes people fall asleep in the oddest situations, even if they're not sleeping. She rushed to add, even if they're not sleeping. It could make them more prone to tiredness throughout the day. She rushed to add. Sorry, Vanessa. Sylvia shook her head. That doesn't sound like me. Like I said, I'm not sleeping. I'm just listening with my head down. She turned and started toward her next class. Make a note about a friend here. She saw a friend down the of hers on the opposite side of the hallway and gave him a brief wave before she started down the hall toward the corridor. Take her to her next class. Vanessa apparently wasn't going to take no for an answer, whatever the question actually was. She followed Sylvia, not staying more than a foot away from her. Why would you do something like that if you weren't tired? Okay, so these are two totally different colors. Did I have that color for something? I did not. It helps me think, Sylvia responded, growing irritated with the other girl's line of questioning. That's silly. How does laying your head down make you think? It would tempt me to fall asleep. That's why teachers think that you're trying to sleep, because you're doing that, you know? Oh, that's why, because Vanessa should know everything about being tired, but not tired. I'm looking at this, I'm trying to remember why I highlighted this. I think the line about the teachers. So it's the issue here. Here, I'll make a note about that too. asleep. Here, I want to actually say. Here. Every time I lay my head down. I'm tempted to. I know! Sylvia huffed and spun around to face Vanessa, who took a defensive step backward. Just because they think that doesn't make it true. I've never fallen asleep in class. She emphasized the word never. Vanessa just stood there, eyes wide open, stammering. Sorry. She eventually apologized as she took another step backwards. I didn't realize it bothered you so much. That's fine, Sylvia shook her head. You won't be the first person to think that I have problems with leaving in class, and you probably won't be the last. Why? Vanessa started, then caught herself and began differently. Can I ask you a question? Sylvia glanced at her watch. There were only 2 minutes left until the bell rang again, and she'd be late for class. Still, she didn't want to be any ruder than she already was. Already felt like she was being. With a reluctant sigh, she answered, "One more question. I'm going to be late." Oh, sorry. Vanessa apologized again. My class is right here, so I guess I didn't take into consideration how far you might have to travel. Class is right here, so I guess I didn't consider that yours might be further away. There, I like that better. No! Alright, heads up for my Twitch viewers, there's an ad coming up in 2 or 3 minutes. Biting back an acidic response, Sylvia just asked, "What question did you have?" I was curious about why lying down helps you think, instead of sitting up like everyone else. I want to cut that. Nope, we'll keep it there. I have to go back up to this too. Sylvia tried again. It just does. It helps me focus or something like that, I think. Look, I've got to get going to class now. Right, Vanessa acknowledged with a nod. Though she seemed to still be considering Sylvia, though she still seemed to be, I don't say considering, but she still seemed to be processing. Sylvia's response. I'll see you around? Yeah, Sylvia answered politely and turned around to get to her next class. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead. Responded curtly. Alright, so now we need to get a title for this one. The oddest situations. Alright, now we've got the first Vanessa chapter, which does need to go through some edits of its own, I'm sure. The brunette walked into her 6th period class, which I don't think I've established. Nope. So she and Tommy should have shared a class together. We're going to go with drama. Our 6th period drama class. Mind whirling. She knew what it was like to be tired when she should be learning. It never occurred to her, however, that someone may just lay their head down as if they're tired when they're not. Why would they do something like that? Didn't it hurt their back? Vanessa just didn't understand. She took her seat in the back of the class and pulled the required... Okay, if it's gonna be drama. And pulled her notebook out from her backpack and set it on the desk. She then took a pencil from her pocket and laid that on top of the notebook, ready to begin writing if the teacher deemed it necessary for the class. In the meantime, she pulled a hair tie off of her wrist and swept her shoulder. Wait. I'm just going to highlight that for consistency, going back. Well, here, let's go back now to take a look at it. It's already pulled back into a ponytail. Alright, so in the meantime, she pulled her hair tie out of her hair, grabbed it back into a ponytail, but took care to smooth out any bumps she could find with her hand. Styled her brunette hair back into a ponytail. And tied it up into a new small ponytail up the nape of her neck. Once that was done, she sat back in her seat and looked around at the other students who shared this class with her. In the front corner sat a block of boys who were always joking around. At the start of the year, they were actually in the back corner of the class. However, the jokes became so ruckus that the teacher, who opted not to provide assigned seats, ordered the jokester to sit up front, closest to her desk. Ordered the lead jokester to sit up front closest to her desk. The other three followed him, but the threat of breaking up their group, if their antics continued to the point of disruption, seemed to be enough to, let's say, discourage any the top behavior, at least while the teacher is present. Vanessa was actually surprised by the boys. Although they often joked and seemed to care less about the class than anyone else, she noticed that whenever the teacher did call on them to answer questions or read from any passages, say scripts, they were always ready to answer. They were ready to comply without too much disruption. No. Not too much disruption. Their answers were usually accurate, and their reads of the plays seemed to be pretty, I don't say accurate, seemed to be pretty, not on point, and the reads of the play seemed to be pretty in character. And the reads of the scripts, I should say. Here we go. Come back over here. Drama. Oop, too far. Okay. Whenever Vanessa was called on to do the same, she was rarely certain that she would get it right, or confident that she would read the line as it should have been read. She often succeeded, but she only knew most of what she knew because she took the time to the line reads, she told herself, was just because they never needed any sort of emotional impact. She had a low GPA and knew that if she wanted any shot at making it into college, she would need to study and study hard. Until she knew the material backwards and forwards. Oh, we have about 30 minutes left, guys. Just a heads up. That's why she was frustrated when she saw that blonde girl, Sylvia, in economics resting her head down. Vanessa could, that's why she was initially, Vanessa could have sworn that she was sleeping. When the teacher tried to call her out on it, Sylvia denied that she was. It seemed pretty convincing that she was paying some attention as well. So she was able to. One sec. Yeah. when she was able to identify what Ms. Taylor was lecturing about. Of course. Wow, we have... Vanessa's dad is like all the things, apparently. Doctor, ear, nose, and throat specialist. I'm gonna have to... Yeah, that's just gonna be resolved later. Of course, with her dad being an ear, nose, and throat specialist, Vanessa had heard all of it about the dangers and quirks of a condition known as sleep apnea. One of those quirks was sleepiness at all times, to the point of falling asleep in class. Vanessa sided with the teacher and assumed that Silly was either... Vanessa sided with the teacher and assumed Silly was either just pretending not to be sleeping, or didn't even know that she had the condition. But there was something about the way that the girl protested when she brought it up that made Vanessa believe her. The way that she acted when Vanessa brought it up that made the brunette start to doubt that it was intentional sleeping, at least. Can you just imagine another girl, a girl, called out and laughed from the opposite side of the room? She was sitting in between two other girls, holding open a beauty magazine and showing something to the girls, who were both leaning in toward her. There's no way I would get that done. The girl to her left, a tall, dark young woman, with hair piled up under her head, commented before sitting down in her seat. You've got to be really brave, or really dumb, to get something like that done to that part of your body. The other girl, who seemed to be on the short side with long blonde hair and bangs, shook her head and also sat down. The girl who initially exclaimed was pretty well filled out, wearing tight clothing to accentuate those features. I don't know why. She had strawberry blonde hair that was normally just past her ears, but today she had it braided against her head and ending in a small ponytail. She laughed at her friend's comments and snapped the magazine shut. I'm gonna guess dumb, especially for how much that costs. Did you see that price? $200 just for some steam. The three girls shook their head in unison. Vanessa looked on, curious. What steam-based beauty product could be worth $200 and cause a commotion like that to erupt? She could only imagine. Curious, Vanessa started to stand up so she could go over and ask them. Before she could, though... No, not even though. Before she could, a boy stepped up to the girl with the strawberry blonde hair and started to talk to her. Gulping, Vanessa decided to stay in her seat. She didn't want to impose herself on them, especially not when they had another conversation they were in the middle of. Besides, class was surely about to start soon, and she had to focus on that once it did. Alright. with the last name Franklin? See? No, he's a general practice doctor. We want to go with general practice doctor, and it's going to be the mom. I'll just edit the later chapters. Okay. So now, I'm just seeing what phrase from this chapter we can use as the title. I'm just reading again. It's really hard. Dangers and quirks. I think I'll stick with that. Not a huge fan of it, but alright, next. How long is this? Oh, this is kind of longish. Alright, so we're going to actually end here, guys. Don't have a lot of people interacting with me, and we have like a bunch, like, editing takes a lot longer to actually edit than to mark up for the edits. So, it'll definitely take more than 20 minutes for me to get through these 3-ish pages. Here, the rest of the day went by in a blur. And I don't think I want to mix the Sylvia and the Vanessa days up either. But anyway, that's decisions to have. At another point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. You guys have an excellent rest of your evening, and I do plan on being back sometime tomorrow. I am hosting Christmas Eve dinner at our place, so we have a lot of cleaning up to do. It's not like rearranging the house type of a lot, but it's still a lot. Plus, I've learned, oops, I may have hit the wrong button on my phone, that I still have some educational things that I have access to for the time being, so I'm trying to get that done while I can, while also, you know, working on content for the video side of the YouTube channel for Grand Blue Fantasy. I just thought of another video idea, although I haven't recorded any like knowledge drop videos, so I should probably do that at some point. Anywho, I want to go ahead and wrap it up here. Oh yeah, I did also want to call out that if you are a supporter of me on Twitch or Ko-fi, the supporters page in Discord does only have the rough draft plus the initial edit markups. The things that we got done today will not be visible. So that is just your information in case you did want to go check that out. Alright y'all, I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. If I can't stream tomorrow for whatever reason, I will let you guys know via Instagram. Alright, bye!